This is way better than we thought. After the New York Jets were expected to not have a ton of high draft selections, something has changed through a trade that was made, and the New York Jets now are in a better position than they previously were in order to get as much young talent on this team as possible, and we're going to break all of it down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Jets Digest. It's Chris and Matt here, and we're going to jump right into things as always. Guys, if you're enjoying the channel, make sure to subscribe. If you're part of that 75% that's not subscribed to Jets Digest, this is the place to be for all off-season news. You guys do not want to miss out. All that being said, let's jump into the video. The New York Jets, they are in much better position than we thought, as it was revealed that now their draft picks have gotten changed up a little bit. As the Jet Press mentioned, when the Jets traded a conditional third-round pick to the Las Vegas Raiders last October for Davante Adams, it was understood that they had sent the better of the two third-round picks that they had. Until Friday, it was believed the Jets held the number 92 overall pick in this year's NFL Draft. However, that pick was acquired in a 2024 draft day trade with the Detroit Lions, where the Jets sent the number 126th overall pick in the fourth round to Detroit in exchange for the Lions' 2025 third-round pick. Meanwhile, the Jets' own third-round pick, number 73 overall, was initially believed to have been sent out to Las Vegas in the Adams trade. It turns out, though, that wasn't actually the case. The third-round pick that the Raiders sent to the Seattle Seahawks for Geno Smith on Friday was actually number 92 overall. This means, as NFL Network's Mike Garfolo later clarified, the Jets still own the number 73 pick, contrary to previous reports. So now the New York Jets, Darren Mougey has a much better pick to work with. Matt, this is a huge thing for the Jets. It's super helpful when talking about young talent.
Yeah, I mean, we moved up 19 spots in the third round for doing absolutely nothing, so I'll take it. I got to admit, I was feeling a little bit bad about the Davante trade, just looking at the draft board and knowing we gave up an early third-round pick for him, but giving up a late third instead feels a lot better. You know, the talent in this draft, day two is going to be deep, and day three is and rounds two and three will be deep, so it's not as impactful as it could have been in other drafts, but obviously the higher you are in the draft, the better. I'm not really sure why the Raiders decided to take that pick. I mean, I guess they could have decided, were they going to help out the Seahawks or were they going to help out the Jets? And I guess since we gave them a third-round pick for a player who's going to be leaving their team in the offseason anyway, they decided they were going to help us out. This is going to give Darren Mougey the flexibility to, one, go out and select a better player because we'll be drafting higher in the draft, or two, he could also trade down with this draft pick and acquire some completely new draft capital that wasn't possible in the past. Also, having the higher pick gives the Jets more ammunition to trade up in the draft if they're looking for that Cam Ward, or they want to move up to one for one of the other top options in Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter. A lot of new possibilities are now open for the New York Jets. I'm not going to sell it like it's the most groundbreaking thing in the world, but we can't be out here pretending like this isn't a big change. 19 spots is absolutely nothing to sneeze at in the third round of the draft, and I'm excited to see what they do with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think having this little boost in your draft pick is going to be huge for the Jets. The targets are definitely going to switch around a little bit now. Obviously, positions of need don't change, but they now get a look at some better prospects. And I'm excited to see how that kind of changes things in general, because obviously this can likely have an impact on their first-round draft pick at 7th overall, depending on what goes down, where they are now, what they project is going to happen on draft night, and who they think is going to be around at that new third slot. Will definitely hold an impact over what the Jets want to do in the first round. There's obviously been a ton of quarterback talk. Jackson Dart's been consistently brought up, and as we remember, Bo Nix was looked at as a guy who was a second-round pick, and despite that, the Broncos, who Darren Mougey was an assistant GM for, was on that team, so that's obviously a possibility. But there's a bunch of teams that now basically get a new shot at or there's a bunch of new prospects now, that the team gets a new shot at taking a look at, who they actually could land. So some third-round prospects who we could see, that it would be interesting just to kind of see them figure out who they want to go with now. I mean, I'm curious about if they're going to trade up now or if they're going to continue to trade down now that they have an even better draft stock. As we've said, it feels more likely that they trade down than trade up Darren Mougey understandably said that they're looking for all options, whether it's trading up, trading down, staying put, which, of course, he's going to say that's the right thing to say. But it does make things very, very interesting going into the draft, which is now coming up pretty fast. Obviously, it's not next week or anything, but it's coming up fast.
Well, I'm excited to see what they do in the draft. And a position group to take a look at where this change is going to have an effect is going to be offensive tackle, because the New York Jets need a right tackle. We could also, use a new swing tackle just in case either Olu or whoever our right tackle gets injured. We're going to need that backup to fill in. This draft class, the good tackles, they're going to start to run out sometime at the end of round 2 and the start of round 3. So this new draft pick that we pretty much have is going to give us an extra opportunity to get in on that draft group. Offensive tackle, if you're interested in that. Another position that we need, wide receiver. Not a very deep class at all. Outside of the top 3 or 4, it gets late early with these wide receivers. The prospects aren't that great. We need to take one. So being up at the top of the 3rd round is going to give us a better shot to land a wide receiver who could turn into a difference maker for this team. If you look at the hit rates for wide receivers, the day 2 picks, rounds 2 and 3, though that wide receiver hit rate is pretty good. So the New York Jets can go out and get a receiver with that draft capital, someone who we can expect to have an impact on the team. I know people don't want to hear about Malachi Corley, but Malachi Corley was drafted in this sort of draft range last year, and hopefully if we end up taking a wide receiver, he's going to be a little bit better than what Malachi Corley gave us last season, which was one highlight play, which honestly, Chris, that play, not including the implications of what happened with the Aaron Rodgers torn Achilles play, but that might have been the worst Jets play since the butt fumble.
That was insane. That explains the whole season right there. That one play is just, if you need to summarize the Jets last season in one play, it was Malachi Corley just dropping the ball a foot before the end zone.
Dude, I remember we made a video. I think it might have been as early as that week, or maybe it was a week before it, talking about Malachi Corley and how they had a secret weapon. The first time he touched the ball, he, what we thought, scored a touchdown. And then I texted you, like, I told you Malachi Corley could run, just get the ball in his hands. I told you if you're creative and you put a gadget play in his hands, he's going to make a play with it. Gets in the end zone, and it gets called back. And I said, forget everything I said. Like, oh, yeah. I can't understand how you could ever make that mistake. I mean, dropping the ball at the, like, not even in the end zone. Like, what are we doing? Like,
you're an NFL rookie. You just got there. You're about to score your first touchdown. How do you not think I have to make sure I don't screw this up? Like, that's wild.
Well, I mean, he's just thinking about running. He has already made the assumption that he's not going to screw it up like that. But
yeah, true.
I'm with you. I don't understand how you could drop the ball.
Like, my adrenaline would be so high. I'd be like just gripping like the ball. Like, I don't know. I'm not an NFL player though, so.
Well, yeah, no, that is something coming from you, seeing how you were too short to be a defensive end in high school. I can't imagine how you could be an NFL player.
Yeah, a little
you're only 5 inches taller than Malachi Corley.
Yeah, little short for the end. So where the Jets are now, I mean, they'll definitely look at the wide receiver room. It's young, and there's one good player on it, unless Corley does want to break out. We know Gibson's not really going to break out or anything. On top of that, his contract's going to end fairly soon, and he's probably just going to go to a different team, and that's fine.
He does is very replaceable. We can always, he was an undrafted free agent. We can always go out and find like the next Rashid Shaheed type player out of him.
So that'll be interesting to see. On top of that, there's obviously the tight end position, which is still a need.
That's a good idea there. The tight end position, really deep, 2nd, 3rd round. I don't think the move up with this, going from where we were to where we are now, I don't think that's going to affect the tight ends, because we're still going to be picking in the same tier. Yeah. I do think if the Jets want to get a tight end at a value, the 42 is where they should be going, picking a tight end.
Makes sense. I mean, I'm interested to see it. They definitely do need to get some sort of tight end, whether that's free agency, whether that's the draft. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, it'll definitely be cool to see them get a higher pick and see if they use that in any sort of trade. It definitely is a more enticing asset. Like, the 19 pick jump definitely is nicer. So we'll see how that works. Guys, let us know what you think down below in the comments. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day, and go Jets.